Hello and welcome to CadenCenter. It's time for another This Week in Sports. Today, as I'm sure you can tell by the jersey I'm wearing, we'll be talking about the NBA Conference Finals, both the East and also mainly the West. Obviously, as you all know, I'm a big Laker fan, so I have a lot of comments and thoughts on Lakers going down on an 0-2 hole, what's been killing them, what they've been doing somewhat well, and what they can build on to try to make a comeback. But I'm going to start before I start ranting off about that with the East, the Heat and the Celtics. We've only seen one game of this series. And I had some things to preview for the rest of the series. Obviously, the Heat as an 8 seed, they made it here by upsetting the Bucks and upsetting the Knicks, even though I had them over the Knicks. And for them, the story has been, as I'm sure you've all heard, Jimmy Butler. The dude in the playoffs simply does not miss. He plays elite defense. He does everything. He can carry anyone. And they're doing all this without their second best offensive player, in my opinion, Tyler Hero, being out with an injury. And he probably won't come back unless they do make the finals. So Jimmy has simply been amazing. There have been some supporting cast members like Max Strus and Caleb Martin that have helped them and have just really been able to get shots when they need it. Also Kevin Love getting rebounds. So the Heat have been a timely team, but it's really been led by Jimmy Butler, and you can't underestimate how good this guy has been. He's proven that he's a top 10, maybe even top 5 player, especially when it comes to the playoffs. And they did get that game 1 win thanks to a huge fourth quarter. I think they scored, or third quarter rather, I think they scored 45 points, which is the most in a single quarter in the playoffs in their franchise history, and the second most the Celtics have ever allowed. I don't think they can lean on a 45-point quarter every single time. So Bam Adebayo, I think, will have to be ready to help Jimmy because we know that Celtics defense can be suffocating, and it really forces you to have multiple people that can beat them. We saw the Philadelphia 76ers struggle with that as Al Horford stopped Joel Embiid, and Marcus Smart helped give James Harden fits. So it'll be important that the Heat have multiple options if they want to beat this team. As for the Celtics keys, Jason Tatum can't go 0 for 8 in the first quarter like he has a couple times. Jaylen Brown, he's been probably, I'd argue, more consistent than Tatum. Obviously, Tatum had that over 50-point game in Game 7 over Philly, but Brown has been there throughout, not just the course of the series, but the course of just games in general. He doesn't really have the bad quarters Tatum does, but Tatum at his peak obviously can win them games. They're the deepest team in the East by far. We know Malcolm Brogdon, 6th Man of the Year worthy player. And they really just, this seems to be one of the best chances they have to make the finals. No disrespect to the Heat, but they are an 8 seed. The Celtics could be facing the Bucks right now and be trying to deal with Giannis. So I think it is really crucial that the Celtics win this and they have all the pressure on them because the Heat, I mean, you're an 8 seed. What do you have to worry about? You know, you already made it this far. No one's going to slander you. No legacies are going to be tainted if you lose this series. So we'll see how the Celtics can adjust after that Game 1 loss. My prediction before this series was Celtics in 6. I am going to stick by that, but I feel like after Game 4, we might see a 2-2 series, and it'll be one that we know is destined for 7. But I'm interested to see what else Jimmy Butler has. Maybe Tyler Hero can come back early, late in the series. I doubt it, and we'll see how consistent Jason Tatum can stay in hopes of bringing the Celtics to a second straight finals. And now we will move on to my Lakers, who are now down 0-2 in the series. They were down by like 20 in Game 1, came all the way back, but came just short in the end. And then Game 2, they were up as much as 11 in the first half. They blew that lead when Jamal Murray was struggling. It looked like they had a chance to really break free and get a 15, 20-point lead like Denver did in Game 1. They didn't do that. Fourth quarter, tight game. It's about who's going to make shots. And at the end of the day, the Nuggets, or specifically Jamal Murray, made all the shots. And, I mean, there's really nothing you can do. He wasn't open on all of these. He's just, I like how everyone in 2020 called him Bubble Murray. And it's kind of stuck. But that's only because of injuries, not of his performance. He's really showing the bubble is not a fluke. This kid can play. And unfortunately for the Lakers, he's killed them and really just gave the Nuggets this winning Game 2. And obviously Nikola Jokic, another triple-double. He's averaging a triple-double in these playoffs. How this guy didn't win MVP, I don't know. I know there's voter fatigue, but he's just on a different planet. Joel Embiid isn't even close to him. Giannis isn't even close to him. But he's showing us he did deserve that MVP, and he's chasing maybe a more important MVP, though. And that is, of course, the Finals MVP and the Western Conference Finals MVP, too. As for more on the Lakers side, I'll start with Anthony Davis. Good, actually great game one offensively, like 40 points, 10 rebounds. I saw a lot of people saying Jokic was cooking him, outplaying him in game one. That's not true. Yes, Jokic did have like 17 rebounds, but that is because AD is contesting Jamal Murray, Bruce Brown, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope drives. He's coming across the lane, and then Jokic has a free rebound, and we know he doesn't miss those tip drills thanks to his water polo skills back in the day. And no one comes and rotates and boxes him out, gets physical. Thankfully, we did see Jared Vanderbilt and Rui Hachimura start to do that towards the end, but AD's defense overall has been good enough, especially after we saw him switch to guarding Aaron Gordon while Rui Hachimura guarded Nikola Jokic so he could help off that dunker spot, and that led to more blocks and more rebounds. But his offensive game is really where the big concern is. He continues to have this stretch of great offensive game, terrible, great, terrible. It just goes on and on and on. He did get to the line a lot in game two, but he could not make a mid-range jump shot. He made 1 3 in the fourth quarter, missed the other 2 that would have cut the lead down to a one-possession game. So he needs to step it up, and now that they're down 2-0, it needs to be great game, great game, great game. There's no margin of error anymore like he had when they were up 2-1, 3-1. He needs to show up and be the superstar we know that he can be. And as for his running mate, LeBron James, LeBron, as we've seen, he hasn't been as dominant in these playoffs as we've seen past times in his career. We do have to remember, though, that he is playing through what should have been season-ending ankle injury, and we saw him tweak it again today towards the end of the game when he stepped on AD's leg incidentally, and he was down for like 2 minutes as the Lakers played 4-on-5 the other way. And I think this injury and it nagging him has also led to him settling for more threes. And we know that LeBron James, as great as he is, top 2 all-time greatest, depending on who you ask, he's not that great of a three-point shooter. He can't be a guy that's just pulling up like some of the guys we see in the league today. And so that makes him just less of a dominant force, and it really hurts the Lakers when instead of driving or deferring, he's trying to chuck up threes and get a rhythm going. And that's certainly been something that's hurt the Lakers and really hurt them in the fourth quarter offensively. So hopefully he can either develop rhythm, he can start to defer, and maybe, the day off will help his ankle. But it looks like someone else will have to step up, and LeBron James getting a 40-point game to save the Lakers season isn't something that's in play. And as for more with the Lakers as a whole, transition defense has been a big problem for them. Nikola Jokic's ability to get the rebound, sprint down the court, and find the open man is unreal, uncanny. No one really can do it like him at 7 feet tall and like 280 pounds. The Lakers, meanwhile, they had the defensive talent, but the effort is non-existent. They are not running back with Nikola Jokic. They are running back like it is a game in January and February, and they are, a top 3 seed. Like, all right, you know what? We can lose this game. We'll get it back. This is the Western Conference Finals. This is your season on the line. This is a chance to go to the NBA Finals on the line, and they're jogging back like it doesn't matter. And I know some habits have been built off that in the locker room because I'm going to be honest with you, LeBron James is not always hustling as hard as Anthony Davis is not always hustling. But they need to maybe instead channel the energy of guys like Jared Vanderbilt and Austin Reeves who have been hustling and simply just get back, because the difference in both of these games has been the Nuggets getting the ball and getting a free layup off of Laker makes, Laker misses. Lakers aren't doing the fundamental thing that you learned in elementary school, which is stop the ball and make sure the guy who first has it doesn't get the layup. We've been seeing Nikola Jokic, Bruce Brown, Jamal Murray, whoever's pushing it up, getting that first layup with no resistance. So the Lakers have to pick that up. And I think a problem or cause of that may also be the Golden State Warriors. The Lakers respected the Golden State Warriors transition offense because they know if you let Steph Curry or Klay Thompson get open in transition, it's a free 3 points, and that's how you start losing games to the Warriors. So the change to Denver, I think maybe there was a lack of respect for Denver that they had for the Warriors because it's not Steph Curry or Klay Thompson. So the laziness is just up and the hustle is down. And that's just not something you want to see at this time of the year. So hopefully it's something that the Lakers can clean up, and hopefully the wake-up call to them to respect the Nuggets is that they're down 0-2 and their season is just 2 losses away from ending. As we move on to the problems for the Lakers in the half court, once they stop the Nuggets transition offense, and that's the dribble handoffs. We're seeing between Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, and Michael Porter Jr. The dribble handoffs the Nuggets have are really hard to guard because Jokic is a scorer, a playmaker. He can draw fouls, and the guy he's handing the ball off to is an elite scorer, whether it be Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., etc. So it's really been troubling for the Lakers, and it's not something you can stop necessarily with hustle, like the problem I just mentioned. But they definitely do need to fight over those screens, I think, because we saw Dennis Schroeder towards the end of game 2. He went over 1 or 2 screens, and that's when Jamal Murray started to get his rhythm going, and that's when it was lights out, good night for the Lakers. So I think doing that and sacrificing a couple more drives, because you should have Anthony Davis guarding Aaron Gordon or Jeff Green, two not all that deadly shooters, so you can have AD protecting the paint and making shots tougher, and you will live with tough 2s over open 3s here, I think, in this situation. So hopefully the Lakers can solve that. And as for their own half-court offense, we saw a lot more stagger screens and pick-and-roll action for D'Angelo Russell and Dennis Schroeder in Game 2. And it's kind of a hot and cold type of thing because of D'Lo and Schroeder are going off, and they're hitting their floaters, they're hitting their mid-ranges. It looks great. When they're struggling or on and off like they have been so far, you maybe don't want it. So I think if D'Lo really specifically starts off cold again, I'd rather see the Lakers go to more post-ups, get Rui Hachimura, who played amazing in Game 2, more looks, and get Braun in the post as well, because when Braun gets the ball on the block, the defense sinks in. He's more of a threat than when he's standing out at the three-point line where they know he's not going to make it. He can make that read off the double team and get it to open shooters. And as for the rest of the Nuggets, we've seen Kentavious Caldwell-Pope return to the form in 2020 he had with the Lakers. Elite 3-and-D, the occasional drive, dunk, momentum play. He's really been elite. He said before the series that, and I think earlier in the season, that LeBron doesn't have that same spark. And I don't agree with that. I think it's the fact that LeBron is playing through a season-ending ankle injury, but he certainly backed up his trash talk. And Michael Porter Jr., a.k.a. Never Swing the Rock, Porter Jr., he's been shooting over everybody. He's had Austin Reeves guarding him. Dennis Schroeder's been switched on to him. He hasn't had a guy who has his height on him because of the difficulties that Nikola Jokic and Aaron Gordon play that force AD and LeBron to guard him. So he's just been shooting over everyone. That's a big problem. But it might be something the Lakers might have to live with, and instead of giving up all the transition buckets and what we've been seeing so far. And of course, the Nuggets, at the end of the day, are the deepest team in the West, maybe the deepest team in the league. Throughout the whole season, they're undefeated at home with that natural home court advantage, and that's continued to show. And they've been the 1 seed all season. So it's not a surprise to see them here up 2-0, even though the Lakers, 7 seed, they're still expected to win. They still have LeBron James. And as for the Lakers, the final message for them here is you're undefeated at home. You have to win 2 games at Crypto.com Arena, or as Laker fans like to call it now, they call it Staples Center. You have to do that or you're going to go home. And I think, if the Lakers can't do that, they were never a championship team in the first place. You have to be able to defend home court, and a series doesn't start until a team loses a game at home. So hopefully the Lakers can do what the Suns did against the Nuggets. That's win 2 straight at home, get it 2-2, make it a best of 3, and then execute from there and try to steal a road game. And at the end of the day, we have to remember they're a 7 seed. They have this deficit. They've been underdogs in Vegas, and they need to have that underdog mentality, push through, and try to make a comeback and continue this finals run. And that is all from me so far on this series. I'll definitely be back after both the West Conference and East Conference series to preview the finals, give my prediction, and hopefully I'll be happy because the Lakers will be playing there. Game 3 is on Saturday, and Game 2 for the Eastern Conference Finals on Friday. So enjoy those games. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time.